My dear brothers and sisters, all of us are in search of happiness, pursuit of happiness. We want to be happy, and we think the meaning of life consists in being happy. And so, always we are searching for what makes us happy, what brings us joy. And in this pursuit, very often we make a lot of mistakes. We tend to consider a better home brings us happiness. Sometimes we think our latest model mobile phone or car or even increment in salary makes us happy. This is the mistake very often we make. We don't really identify what makes us happy, what gives us real meaning for our life. So in the gospel, in the first reading, very clearly it says, everything is vanity, vanity of vanities. Vanity originally means some smoke or wind which just comes and disappear. So everything is illusion. And why he says, the author says in the book of Ecclesiastes, he says this because the rich man and the poor man dies. The rich man hoard up a lot of things under pressure, and the person is not able to use all his wealth for himself. He has to hand it over to somebody else, and he is not sure whether the person will use these possessions rightly. Therefore, the person is not sure about his riches. And so that is vanity. The fool and the learned die. So both die. Therefore, gaining wisdom also is vanity. The poor and the rich also die. They also disappear. Therefore, that is also is vanity. And ultimately, he says why these negative concepts are put together in the starting of the book. This is to make the readers aware of the life after death. Life after. Therefore, the life here on earth is a passage to heaven, passage to Jesus, and therefore the person wants us to identify the real happiness that is God Himself, and we have to hoard up treasure for ourselves in heaven. That is how we can become more joyful and more happy. The gospel also very clearly falls in line with the first reading. In the gospel we saw, this is a foolish farmer. He had abundance of crop, lot of things, and there was no proper store for keeping all these grains. And so he thinks of widening or making new storerooms and keep them all to use for his future. However, God calls his soul and he can't use all these. And so, what was the mistake the rich fool does here? The rich fool thought that all these he can use for his future and he could be more happy, rejoicing because he has lot of things left back. However, he dies that night, and ultimately all riches become useless. And so, what was the wrong he did? His words are narrated in the gospel, maybe 3 sentences. And in these just 3 sentences, he uses only the language of I, mine, and mine. Nothing other than that. The person is not ready to go beyond him. The whole world is in him. Therefore, his eyes are not open. He is not ready to see the real meaning of life, real uses of the riches. And also, he is not grateful towards God. God has given him such an abundance of crop, and he is not even thanking God for the gifts or the good crop he has received. So, in his richness and in his possession, he is forgetting his neighbor, he is also forgetting God himself. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, God is calling us to go out of ourselves. Go out of ourselves and find happiness. Happiness and real meaning of our life. Therefore, we are asked not to hoard up treasures for here on earth. These material possessions, the riches or the wealth is not going to bring us any happiness. Now, they can even add one more day to our life. Even these riches cannot give us perfect health. This is all granted by God. It is all the valuable, most precious gift of God, our life. Therefore, we need to go beyond us. We need to grow towards the other. And what is the real meaning of being rich? We know we have just left our homeland and we are here working, struggling in order to take care of our family, our parents, and our children. So much of struggle and so much of difficulties we are undergoing. Therefore, without money, nothing is going to take place. And even to stay here without doing anything, we need money, because it's only then we can live our life. And so God is not saying that riches are bad in itself. Rather, it is our attitude. So much desire for the riches or hoarding up things for ourselves leads to misery and leads to unhappiness. And so the riches are there, the wealth is there. These are to be used as a means to heaven, means to reach Jesus Christ. Therefore, in the second reading, very clearly St. Paul says, we are given a new life in Christ. We have put on Christ. And as we have put on Christ, we should not turn back to our older ways of life, old habits of sin. Rather, we have to be with Christ and accept the Christ who is with us. And so the riches are just like a loan given to us. We need to pay back this loan. We need to return all these riches God has given to us. Use them rightly. Use them for the well-being of other people. Use them for the well-being of poor. Do not hoard up. Don't give so much stress and importance for the earthly things. Rather, give importance to God. God, give importance to neighbor. These days, our life has changed a lot, and especially with Corona. We started thinking about working from home, offices at home, and we also even schooling from home. So whole life His changed whole thought of life and its meaning has been changed. And so very often we find we are so much addicted to the world of internet, the latest mobile phones, the social communications, and we spend so much of time with that. My dear brothers and sisters, after so much of work and pressure, when we are returning back to home, we have to return as a father or as a mother or as a daughter or as a son. Because we are into our home, we are into our family, we are not in our workplace or our place of business. Very often, sometimes when we visit families, people think about or speak about the tension or the struggles they undergo due to the pressure of business and maybe thought of not having job in the future and so on. It's really right. Rather, when we are returning back to home, we have to return as a father. Give the time that is meant for the family. Stay together, pray together. Even the children. Children, you have the duty and the responsibility to study, listen to the parents, grow up in wisdom and knowledge. These are the practical guidelines that we need to follow. So instead of giving such time to listen to the children or children listening to the father or speaking together, enjoying the life, we are just buffering the internet, social media, TV, and so life becomes miserable. There is no communication, there is no joy and happiness. And really, we are not also hoarding up riches for our God, riches in heaven. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, with all these, we need to find meaning for our life. We need to rejoice. We need to be really happy. And for that, it is not the new job, it is not more wealth, or it is not the latest gadgets or new house that will bring us happiness. Rather, when we dedicate ourselves to listen to our own children, when dedicate our time to be with the family, or even just to remove the suffering of our neighbor, we are hoarding up treasure for ourselves in heaven. So let us know the real meaning of our life and let us do away with the selfishness. Rather, let us think about our neighbor and thank God for giving us this beautiful and wonderful life.